Welcome back, everyone. It's RacerX, and today I thought I would put together a quick update video for you guys about the progress of my Demon 170. For those of you guys that don't follow the channel, unfortunately, my 2,000-mile Dodge Demon 170's engine needs to be completely replaced. We actually found a bunch of metal in the oil, which is not a good sign. There's a lot more to come on the cause of all that, but today I've got a little bit of an update for you guys on what is going on with the car, the latest. I will give it to you. If you guys are brand new to the channel, don't forget, hit subscribe. You can find that button right over here. And off we go.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Check it out, guys. I am actually at the Dream Giveaway Garage, and directly behind me in the flesh is their 2018 Dodge Demon. What an absolutely beautiful car. I want to show you this car in a little more detail because they're giving it away in less than a month. Take a look at this beautiful 2018 Dodge Demon. 840 horsepower on race fuel, 808 on 93 octane. I love this black and red theme this car has. You can see that menacing demon right there on the back of the seats. Also, they're going to give you $24,000 to pay for the taxes on this car. You can also see the Demon crate right over here. What an amazing specimen of a car. So clean, this Demon. We are now in the home stretch of this giveaway. If you want your chance to win this Demon, I will go ahead and pin a link in the comment section down below that will take you directly to Dream Giveaway's website for the Demon giveaway with my code already applied, which will get you 3 times the entries, not double, but 3 times the entries for one price. Like I said, you have right about a month to go ahead and get your entries in, and then it will be over. Somebody is going to win an amazing car. And as I mentioned before, if one of my subscribers wins using my code, I will go and do a dedicated video with you and this beautiful car. What a deal. Go out there and try and win this Demon. So for the last 5 or 6 weeks, I've been driving around a big old Wagoneer. That's actually the loaner that the dealership gave me. And I'm really blessed that they did give me something to drive in the meantime. But truth be told, I'm ready to get my Demon 170 back and get really back to the whole reason that I bought the car, which is to drag race. Now, they did tell me that my engine needed to be completely replaced. We talked about that. And I was sort of wondering because Stellantis and Dodge, they got really quiet on me. I was getting very few updates. So I decided to go into the dealership and just kind of poke around a little bit and say, hey, look, have you heard anything? Do we know when the engine's going to come in? How long does it take to replace the engine? And lo and behold, the engine was sitting right behind the car. The car was up on a lift and the engine is ready to be installed. And I sort of wondered in the back of my mind, is the engine really the major problem? We know that there were all sorts of metal flecks in the oil. I mean, a whole bunch. So the engine was definitely eating itself. We don't really know the full cause of it yet until they perform the autopsy on the engine, so to speak, which will happen. But I am intrigued that the engine is there, it's ready to go, and they seem to think that that was the major source for the car not going into torque reserve, the car not wanting to hold on the trans brake, the car not wanting to shift right. All of it was because the car was basically going into protect mode. The drag race features were not wanting to work anymore, and the car somehow knew that something was definitely wrong with the engine. I'm guessing that it sensed low oil pressure and maybe some other things, but most people are in agreement that it is an oil issue to some degree. Now, mind you, I didn't have the oil overfilled, underfilled. I mean, I checked the engine oil and it seemed to be filled to exactly the right level. So a lot more to come on the exact cause of why the engine needed to be replaced. But I am really excited to report that the engine is there. It's ready to be put in. He told me he had a couple more engines to get done, but by the middle of this week, he wanted to be on it. And by the end of the week, he was hoping that I could have the car back. Now, I'm also going to have to do a new break-in on this engine, which means I got to put even more miles on it. And I wanted to talk to the engineers at length about maybe some additional suggestions, if you will, in terms of breaking this engine in the right way, because I saw comments all over the internet. Oh, well, it has to be RacerX's fault. And for some weird reason, with people, everything has to be somebody's fault. I don't really understand why that is. Certainly it's not my first rodeo. This is definitely not my first E85 car. I've raced a lot of cars like that, but it really caused people to question, oh, well, he didn't change the oil long enough. He didn't break it in right. And I'm here to tell you guys, I talked to several people that actually worked on this engine about the right way to break it in. And I addressed this on some of the forums with people basically calling me out saying RacerX doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how to break in a car, which I thought was pretty ridiculous. And a lot of people think it's because in the addendum, it talks about 1,500 miles before you track it. I didn't quite get to 1,500 miles on the car. I had a lot more than 500 on it, which I don't know why that's out there as well. People thought right at 500 miles I raced the car. But I had a lot of heat cycles in this engine. And when you talk to the people that really understand the break-in process, it's not quite so much about the mileage as it is about heat cycles and varying degrees of load on the engine. So if you're taking it from 1,500 RPM to 3,500 RPM, you don't want to keep it at one static RPM basically the entire time. So ultimately, when you're breaking in an engine, it's all about heat cycles. It's not really all that much about mileage. Yes, they have a 1,500 mile thing in the addendum about when you take it to the track. That is for those guys that want to go take long trips at one static RPM, and they're really not doing a whole lot to break their engine in. That is not how I did it. I put a lot of heat cycles into this engine, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. Let those components get hot. Let them cool down. Let the rings expand. Let them contract. Do all of that kind of stuff. Don't keep the engine under the same load. And I did all of those things. I never took the engine above like 3,700 RPM on the break-in. I mean, I really did follow everything to a T. The 1,500 mile thing in the addendum is really for the guys out there that want to just take long trips down the highway, just cruise at 70 and think they're doing their engine a huge favor by breaking it in that way. That is not breaking in your engine. So there's kind of a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And so many people got caught up on that, oh, it should be 1,500 mile thing. That is just suggestion based on the average people out there that don't really understand how to break an engine in. So please keep that in mind. I saw all sorts of comments out there from people that really don't understand. They just don't. And so keep in mind, guys, when it comes to the oil on this car, I was really, really careful with the oil. Other people say, oh, you know, you should have changed the oil 6 times, or he should have changed it after every pass. And you're going to get all sorts of weird comments like that. Ultimately, this is a car that was engineered for racing. It has really good quality engine oil in it. And, you know, I really was using the car the way it was intended, the way the car is designed. And you know what? When you make a car that makes 1,025 horsepower, a 4,300 pound car that's capable of doing 1.2s on the 60 foot, sometimes things go a little bit weird. And like I said, I've operated lots of E85 cars in the past, always kind of had the same cycle when it comes to changing the engine oil, and everything worked out fine. None of those engines ate themselves. The Mustang GT that I just sold that was capable of making 1,300 horsepower, never had any problem with it, and that car ran exclusively on E85. So there's lots of things to ponder here in terms of maybe what could have gone wrong, what could have, should have, would have. This is not a really prevalent issue based on everything that I have seen. There have been a few engines out there. We kind of knew it was going to happen with a car like this, but ultimately Dodge is taking care of the issue, and that is really the big thing. They got a brand new engine for me. We're going to get the engine in there. Hopefully the car is going to be really healthy, and we'll start the break-in process again and get it back to the track. So ultimately, I am about a week out, hopefully, fingers crossed, from getting my Demon back and restarting the break-in process on this car. Now, a lot of other people have chimed in, oh, RacerX, your car is only going to be worth half because the number stamped on the block isn't going to match the car and all that. Your average racer, guys, in my opinion, really isn't going to care. It's still a 170 with a healthy engine in it. And I'm going to basically use the same process that I used before with a couple small little differences. Now, when I talk to some of the other engineers, people that don't even work for Stellantis anymore, people that did the quality testing on this particular engine, they gave me a couple other small pointers that they would recommend. Most of them admitted, look, you didn't do anything wrong. You did things exactly the way you were supposed to. And sometimes stuff just happens. And I get that. Like I said, I don't blame Dodge. One person actually told me, when you break it in this time, break it in purely on 93 octane fuel, which is what I plan to do. I did put E85 in it before 500 miles. At no point was I made aware of the fact that maybe I shouldn't put E85 in it till a certain period. Ultimately, this is a flex fuel car, right? It's got an inline flex fuel sensor. The car is made to kind of go up and down on the horsepower. Otherwise, Dodge would have locked out those features. Like you couldn't put E85 in it, locked out a bunch of stuff. Like I said, at 500 miles, all the drag race options come on and you can start doing all that. I mean, there's a reason that they unlock those at 500 miles. Now, I will put lots of really high quality miles on there, varying RPM like we talked about. I mean, I'm going to break this thing in once again to a T, and hopefully I'll have an opportunity to actually sit down with Dodge once they take the engine apart, and anything else they want me to do from a break-in perspective, I will follow it to a T, and I will share that with you guys. I know a lot of 170 owners follow my channel, and they're curious. They want to know what in the world happened to him. I don't want that to happen to me, and I'm with you guys. I want to share the information, be completely factual with you guys about everything. I try to be that way anyway with you guys, and if I can help some folks out there, I absolutely plan to do it. But I'm really excited, guys. It's coming here very, very soon, so stay tuned, and I will catch you on the next one. So until then, RacerX.